If you have never used GNS3 before, do not worry, this is just a short introduction on how to use the application. As shown, this is a representation of a small home or office network. The internet is represented by the NAT cloud on the right. R1 is my home router. The switch 1 device is actually built into the router, as most ISPs send out a device with a router, switch and firewall built in. The endpoint devices are connected to the switch and these are called VPCs. They are just virtual code, but they work well enough. The Ubuntu one actually works as a full-on Linux end device, which I will show you later on in the video. As you can see, the layout is fairly simple and is standard in a home or home office setting. I'll talk you through how to set this up slowly. We are not going to discuss NAT here, or DHCP for that matter. I will show a simple network, using static IP addresses for all devices. It's more to understand how to use GNS3 to build from the ground up, wire everything together and configure the addresses for each device. Again, this is just an introduction to how to use the GNS3 application. I will produce a video on how to install at a later date. For now, if you click the folder icon, it shows you the existing network I have made. But if I click on the folder icon with a yellow star, it will open up a stage for a new project. Give it a relevant name, so that you can return to it again in the future. I call this one, House Network, YouTube. The stage is set up now for your devices, so move to the left of the stage and you can see the networking icons. By clicking on the button with small icons on, it will show all of the network devices. Cloud is on there as well as routers, switch and PCs, even an Ubuntu Linux VM. If you look at the switch, it is a simple layer 2 switch, so this will not require any configuration. The router is actually a Cisco router image. By clicking and holding down the mouse button, you can drag the router onto the stage. This router is our connection to the internet, so we need to drag the NAT cloud onto the stage. Always select your GNS3 VM for the server, so it uses much less laptop RAM. Now, moving to the inside of the network, we want to drag and drop the switch, selecting the GNS3 VM again. The users on the network are going to be using the virtual PCs and the Ubuntu Linux image. Drag and drop those onto the stage where you want. Okay, the endpoint devices are now on the network. Tidy it up a bit before we start cabling these devices together. The cable icon is on the left, below the network icons. Click this and your mouse becomes a plus icon. By clicking each device, you will be presented with a number of ports on each device. Of course, you can select the ones you want, but for the sake of simplicity, I connect VPC 1 to port 1 and so on. I've hooked up the VPCs and Ubuntu now, so it's starting to take shape. I myself love to keep things tidy, so I drag every device into position. I cannot help it, I was just born this way. It's also just good housekeeping, especially if someone else was to train on the network. GNS3 has some excellent features, for example labeling the ports on each device. Click on the grey square on the top left of the menu bar and port numbers appear by each port. Again, I must tidy the ports up. Now we are going to label the stage with the subnets, which is more for housekeeping and understanding the layout. The LAN is on the left of the router and the WAN is on the right of the router. By clicking on the square icon with a pencil, we are going to label the subnets for the LAN and WAN. The WAN side is 192.168.122.0, while the LAN side is going to be 192.168.1.0. You can also change the font size and colors for the subnets, so by right mouse clicking, select the color and I've changed the font size to 14. Okay, so that is done. Now for the configuration side of the network and end devices. I have now tidied up the stage a bit more, adding in labels, adding local and wide area networks and making the router and switch as one device. VPC 1 is already configured to connect to the network, so I am going to configure VPC 2. Right mouse click on the icon and you will be presented with a black prompt. These are easy to configure and involve putting in a static IP address of your choice. I type in 192.168.1.20, followed by the subnet mask and default gateway. The gateway is the internal IP address of the router. 1.1. Lastly, configure a DNS server to resolve domain names. 8.8.8.8 is Google's. Running a show IP, and this is fully configured. It is called a static IP address, as we had to manually configure this. To prove that this PC can now reach the internet, we are going to use a function called ping and run it on the PC, trying to reach Google, out beyond the NAT cloud on the right. Returning to the PC2 CLI, we first just ping Google's 8.8.8.8 address. Yes, that's successful. Now we should be able to ping the website address. Oh yes, it works perfectly. Thanks for watching this, we hope, easy to follow video. In the next video, we will be configuring the Ubuntu Linux VM to reach the internet and show you how NAT works. Like, share and subscribe, and we will see you again real soon. Bye for now.